So Boris Johnson is not a man for deadlines. Remember back in October last year when he promised that the UK would leave the European Union on the 31st of October, because otherwise he would prefer to be dead in a ditch. Well, the 15th of October deadline set by Boris Johnson is no longer set in stone, as he seems to have asked the EU to extend the negotiations for another month. So according to news reports, Boris Johnson and Ursula von der Leyen, the European Commission President, have approved a further month of Brexit negotiations after what journalists are saying was enough progress has been made to justify one big push to reach a deal on trade and security. Michel Barnier, the EU negotiator, is planning to travel to London next week for talks with his counterpart, David Frost, and both men will then hold follow-up talks in Brussels the week after that. Now, the EU has played down this extension, calling it, and I quote, not a game changer, but not unhelpful. Both sides said that they hope to have so-called landing zones when it comes to the thorny issues still outstanding. Michel Barnier is expected to meet with the German Chancellor next Monday to update her on the progress. Merkel said that she believes the EU will show some flexibility when it comes to agreeing a deal with Boris Johnson. This, of course, is music to Boris Johnson's ears, but it has spooked Brexiteers who in public will claim that it's a European climb down, but in private have said that they're concerned about what the EU means by flexibility. According to some media reports, it's believed that during the call, the one between Boris Johnson and Ursula von der Leyen, Johnson pushed the idea that he would prefer to have some kind of arrangement with the EU that's similar to that of Canada. But at the same time, he repeated his hardline position of threatening to leave the transition period without a deal. Now, all of this may give Boris Johnson some breathing space, not to actually work towards a deal, but the way I see it is it's another attempt to run down the clock. I'm sure in order to extend these talks, Boris Johnson has compromised on something. Now, we won't know what that is until perhaps he reveals his deal, which I still think he will get. What is Boris Johnson's modus operandi? The way I see it is he wants to run down the clock and then agree to something. Not necessarily good for the UK, but something. That way he can convince the public that he has forced the EU to compromise at the very last minute. Then return to Westminster and push it through as quickly as possible. There will be intense pressure to push through any deal, as the EU27 will be doing the same in tandem. Boris will likely come up against some opposition from Brexiteers, as they will be sceptical of how good this deal is, as he will no doubt compromise on many issues. Remember, a good deal can be got when you are in a strong position and you have time. A bad deal can only be got if you are under strict time constraints and desperate for a deal. This extension will do little to improve the quality of the deal Boris Johnson will agree with the European Union, but it will provide him with the political brinkmanship that he needs to convince his party, Brexiteers, and the British public that he has salvaged a victory from the jaws of defeat. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot. I want to say a big thank you to all of my patrons. You ensure that this channel continues to exist. I'm eternally grateful for all of your support. If you join Patreon, you will receive instant access to our Discord server, where we have both audio and video chats. You can chat with me and other patrons, where we discuss important and non-important issues. Becoming a patron per month costs about the same as a large coffee, so why not check it out?